Donald Trump took a pot shot at Colin Kaepernick during his State of the Union speech. Here it is.
Here tonight is Preston Sharp, a 12-year-old boy from Redding, California, who noticed that veterans' graves were not marked with flags on Veterans Day. He decided all by himself to change that and started a movement that has now placed 40,000 flags at the graves of our great heroes. Preston, a job well done. Preston's reverence for those who have served our nation reminds us of why we salute our flag, why we put our hands on our hearts for the Pledge of Allegiance, and why we proudly stand for the national anthem.
That really got under my skin. Because you know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of straw manning. I'm sick of people pretending that a debate is not about the issue that it's really about. So Colin Kaepernick and all the NFL players taking a knee could not be more clear. They've said it a million times. This is about police brutality. This is about injustice. This is about a criminal justice system that's fucked up. Now, listen, I'm not saying you have to agree with their opinion on those issues. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is you cannot say that that is not the issue as to why they're doing what they're doing. That is the issue. 100%. That's not up in the air. That's not a matter of opinion. It's not a question. It doesn't matter if you want to take that and pivot and change the debate. You're simply wrong if you want to do that. You could say, okay, it's about police brutality and an unjust and a criminal justice system that's, rife with injustice. You could look at that issue and go, I disagree with Colin Kaepernick. I disagree with everybody taking a knee. Fine. But you can't say it's not about that. What Donald Trump just did is a straw man. He pretended like, oh my God, they're not respecting our flag, which means they hate America and they hate our troops. That is such a cheap shot because that's not what this is about. This is not about the troops. This is not about whether or not you love America. Many brilliant men have said dissent is the highest form of patriotism. If you love something, you critique it to try to improve it. If your kid is smoking crack and sucking dick behind a dumpster at an Arby's, maybe you intervene and say, listen, we're going to try to get you some help because we love you. The kid can respond and say, you're critiquing me, therefore you hate me. But they're wrong. Just like when you say, you're kneeling for the flag, for the national anthem, you hate America. That's a straw man. That's not true. And again, what frustrates me is that's not true. And if you don't know that's not true, you're the dumbest fucking person. It's amazing how dumb you are. I can't believe you fucking know how to tie your shoes and go about your day because you would have to be just record-breaking dumb to not understand that. So either you're a liar or you're the dumbest person on the planet. It's an open question with Donald Trump, I admit. But stop pretending like the debate is not what the debate's about. The debate is about police brutality and the criminal justice system. When you say, no, he hates the troops or hates America, you're just fucking wrong. You're just wrong. You want to disagree with him on police brutality and the criminal justice system? Fine. Disagree with them on that. But they're not doing that. What they're doing is they're saying you hate America. Fucking straw manning assholes. And then the next thing that pissed me off is the very next comment he made. You didn't see it there, but he goes on to say it in the very next comment. He talks about the Constitution. So he goes on to, the Constitution, that's what's so important, and we believe in our Constitution. So let me get this straight. You just finished smearing a man for exercising his First Amendment rights. Nonviolent, peaceful protest. And then in the very next statement you make, you go on to say how much you love the Constitution. Well, Don, if you love the Constitution, perhaps you would be defending the First Amendment rights of somebody you disagree with. But you don't love the Constitution. You're full of shit. Donald Trump floated on Twitter how we should ban flag burning. Even Antonin Scalia, a far-right justice, said, Even though I don't like it when people burn the flag, of course that's their First Amendment right. That's political speech 101. You have the freedom to protest like that, of course. Donald Trump is so dumb and myopic, he didn't even get that. We should ban flag burning. Trump tried to sue Bill Maher over a joke. This is a guy who believes in free speech and free expression in the First Amendment? Please, he's a social injustice warrior. He's the right-wing PC police. So, the people don't point out that contradiction, that all the right-wingers who scream about college kids who need their safe space and they're triggered by microaggressions and they're snowflakes, none of them point out that, right-wing NFL fans shit their depends when somebody does a non-violent, peaceful protest against police brutality. And by the way, if you despise that and you want Kaepernick fired, which they do, and no team picked him up, well, then what can they do? So obviously, if there's violent protest, you're against it. If there's riots or something, you're against it because it's property damage. And by the way, on that, I agree with you. I don't agree with violent protests, whether it's property damage or damage against other people. I don't agree with that. But if they can't do violent protest and they can't do peaceful protest, then what you're saying is you can't protest at all. Sit down and fucking take it. Oh, we have a criminal justice system that locks up thousands and thousands of non-violent drug offenders. Lives are ruined because somebody's caught with a little bit of weed. Well, you need to shut the fuck up and take it. You're not allowed to talk about issues that matter. You're not allowed to talk about the fact that lives are ruined for no good reason. You're not allowed to fight back against the police when there are countless killings of unarmed people in the United States of America. In the history of Norway or Denmark, there's been 2 people who've been shot. In the U.S., that's called Tuesday. But you're not allowed to speak up and disagree with that because we have declared that. Donald Trump has declared that. Right-wingers have declared that. And if you dare speak up against it, we're going to smear you and we're going to say you hate America and you hate our troops. So it's just frustrating because there's no way you can resist against police brutality. There's no way you can resist against the drug war and a criminal justice system that's unjust. You can't fight back against that without them smearing you and changing the conversation. So, it's amazing because you'll always see that too when there's an actual riot happening, right-wingers will say, why can't you just peacefully protest? I mean, Martin Luther King peacefully protested and we agree with Martin Luther King. That's what they'll say now. But then here we go. Colin Kaepernick's peacefully protesting. And they're saying you're not allowed to do that either. So then what's he allowed to do? There's nothing. They don't want him to do anything. Sit down and shut the fuck up. You ungrateful black man. Here we are. You were getting paid maybe millions of dollars, and you have the nerve to care about people with no power and no money who are getting screwed by the system? Tisk, tisk. Time to end your career. And then time to smear you in the State of the Union address, and then in the very next sentence, bring up how much I love the Constitution unironically.